Hi, welcome back. So now that you have understood the concept of broadcast receiver, now let's just take a look into the small demo. I'm going to create an application here. I'm going to call it my broadcast receiver and demo. And I'm going to use minimum as 15 API and empty activity, and name the activity name as main activity and layout as activity underscore main. So this particular application has two parts. First, I'm going to invoke a inbuilt broadcast receiver. That would be, let's say, battery low broadcast receiver. Second part will be the invoking of custom broadcast receiver. So for that, what I will do, I will trigger that broadcast receiver message from this particular application, and I will create another application which will be listening for this message, and there will be a broadcast receiver to that. Don't worry, we will get to that second part. First, let's just understand the first part, that how exactly I can invoke my inbuilt broadcast receiver. Well, let me just create a nice UI first. I will delete everything and I will create a text view, and I will call this text as broadcast receiver. Increase the font, maybe 30 sp. Okay, let's just correct the spelling. BROAD, broadcast receiver. Okay, great. Next, I'm going to create a button, and I'm going to call that button as inbuilt broadcast receiver. So this one is going to call my inbuilt broadcast receiver. So in order to call from this button, I need to create an on-click attribute inside the XML. So I will do on-click, and I will put the method name call inbuilt. Okay, and I need to put the same method in my Java file. Alt enter. There you go. Great. So I have a method now in which I will be putting the code to call my broadcast receiver. We all have seen this in concept, that to create a broadcast receiver, I need to create a Java class by extending the class broadcast receiver, and then I need to put the entry in my manifest file also. So either I do that manually, or I have an easier way. Just right click on your development package, go to new, go to others, and there will be a broadcast receiver. Just click on that and name your broadcast receiver. Let me just call it broadcast my one. You can name it anything. So let's just make it broadcast first, or broadcast inbuilt. Yeah, that makes sense. Broadcast inbuilt. Now, exported and enabled. Exported, do you want that other applications should be able to use it, and you want to enable it, of course. So it's up to you which one you want. If you do not want other application to be using this broadcast receiver, just uncheck this. As of right now, I'm just checking both of them. So you can see this now. There is a .java file of broadcast receiver, and inside that, like you saw in the slides also, that there is one abstract method that you have to override, that is on receive, and this is where you will be providing the code to receive data from your broadcast or the message which have been broadcast. And this is where all the fancy applications, all the social applications, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, they put the notification code. You will learn the notification code in further sessions, but for now, understand that once this particular broadcast receiver gets invoked, it comes to on receive method, and this is where you put your code, whatever you want your user to show. Once you learn notification, you will put the notification code here. Now let's just check out if in the manifest file it has been registered or not. Okay, see, in manifest file, this receiver is indeed registered, so you don't even need to put it manually here. So this is the name. Now, one more thing which you need to take care before you put the code in your receiver classes, you have to provide the behavior to this particular receiver. and or to this particular component. And we all know how exactly we can do that. That is with the help of intent filter tags. So what kind of behavior I want? I want this receiver to be listening for a inbuilt message. Now I'm not creating a custom, so I will be listening for an inbuilt message. Now what kind of message it can be? It can be any message. It can be when your power is connected, or when your power is disconnected, or your battery. All those inbuilt messages which you want to put here, you can put here, and accordingly this receiver will react upon those messages. So let me just put battery low. So after a certain percentage, if your battery gets low, this broadcast receiver will get invoked. If you want to put category, you can put category. There's no need of that, but yeah, it's a good practice if you want. By default, each and every component has this default category. Okay, so now this particular receiver will get invoked whenever your battery life goes lower than a certain percentage, maybe 20%, maybe 15%, depend upon the device you are using. But whenever you will see this receiver in action, now you will see two receivers. First, your receiver which you have just created, and wherever you are running your application now, and wherever you will be or whichever device you will be using, that device must have also its own receiver. You must have seen that if you are using Android phone, if your battery gets lower than 15% or 20%, you get a notification. So there is already a receiver sitting there who is listening for the low battery power or low battery. So you have created a second receiver. So you will see two notifications now. I mean, I won't be creating notification, but I will be certainly creating a toast. So toast make, so that I would know that, okay, my toast has been invoked, so my receiver is being handled now. Okay, so I need a context object. The broadcast receiver class itself doesn't have a context object, so I cannot put this here. So but on receive method does have a context object within it, so I can just put context. And message I want to show, let's say battery is low, please charge. Whatever you want to, whatever the functionality you want to put here, charge. And then short, and then show. Great. Okay, once you do that, all you have to do now is just run this application. As of right now, if you click on the button, nothing will happen. There will be just a button, and you won't be even able to do anything because there is no code provided inside your on-click method. So see here, nothing is happening. So how do you invoke your broadcast receiver? We all know that with the help of a class named intent only, right? Intent I1 equals to new intent. And this time in intent we will set an action. Okay. Okay, one more thing. Okay, I'm sorry. We don't even need to put the intent here. Why? Because by default it is already listening for what? Low battery, and low battery will be triggered when there is a low battery. So we will get to this intent part when we will be doing the custom receivers. So let's just see right now. So as of right now, you can see battery is not low. So how can I customize? So my application is up running. So how can I customize this this particular battery power? Go to more. Here you can see battery option. Now first you need to make sure your battery is not in AC charger, it's in non, so that if it's still in AC charger, it will never reach to that battery low thing. And instead of battery status charging, okay, that's okay. Once you put the charger connection as none, now make the battery level go low. As you can see, as soon as you made it low, there are two notifications which popped up. One was from system, which you saw the notification here, and one was with our application, that was a toast. Let me just do it again for you. Okay, when you go down, see battery low, please charge, and the notification from there. So that's what I was talking about. You were able to invoke a inbuilt broadcast receiver here without even calling it from your own application, because that broadcast receiver is listening for a specific action that is low battery power. So that's how you call an inbuilt. Now let's just talk about a external or a custom broadcast receiver. So for that, I will again create a button. I will call that call inbuilt. No, call external. Call custom broadcast. There you go. And when you call this particular button, I need call custom. So you saw that we didn't really needed this call inbuilt. It's okay. You don't even have to put anything. But at any point of time, when you click on that button, you need to do something, you can do that. So now, this is where I will be putting my custom broadcast receiver code. But for that, first of all, I need to create a custom broadcast receiver. How can I do that? Right click on your development package, go to new, and go to your again others, and broadcast receiver, and I will call it custom broadcast. One. Cool. And inside the on receive, I will put a toast, which will be calling it text, and make text will be, let's say, context, and first receiver calls, and length short dot show. Great. So my on receive method is ready, and my receiver is ready, and all I need to do now is go to my manifest file. I see it is already being registered in my manifest file. All I need to do is provide the behavior here. So how do I provide the behavior? By providing the intent filter, and I will provide an action. Now this time around, I don't want to provide any inbuilt action. I want to provide my own action, so that it will be a custom broadcast receiver. That's how actually each and every application, WhatsApp or your Facebook or Twitter, they have their own action, and it's their own. You can't know that, right? If you are creating your own application, you need to have your own action too. So it can be anything. Okay, so I'm creating, let's say, my lalit.own receiver, my receiver call. You can put anything. I'm putting this. You can put anything. Just make sure that you remember this action name, because with this action only you will be invoking this broadcast receiver. And again, I'm putting a default. Okay, so I have provided the behavior to this receiver also. All I need to do now is, in my main activity, I need to put the code to invoke this kind of receiver. So what will I do? Send, again, I will use intent I1 new intent, and now I will set the action, set action, and I can put the action should be exactly the same which you just kept here. Just copy the same action so that I don't make any mistake while writing it down. And then I1 dot add category. Again, in category also put the same category, that is default. Again, I'm copying, and then just paste it here. After that, once you have your intent ready, all you gotta do is broadcast this message, broadcast this action, and it will be broadcasted to the whole Android system, and whosoever broadcast receiver is listening for this particular action, they will get invoked. So how do I do that? Send, broadcast, and pass your intent. Now, this will be sent to the whole Android system, and if your application is already installed, so it must have installed your broadcast receiver for this particular action. So it will be always listening for this message, and it will get invoked. Your broadcast receiver class get invoked, and it will go to on receive, and there is a toast that is first receiver call, and that's what your output will be when you click on that button. So let's just see. Click on the run button. Okay, now let's just run this application. Click on run button. Okay, you can see my application is up running now. Let's just click this button first, that is custom broadcast, and it should show me a toast. There you go. So indeed my broadcast receiver was registered for this, and it is listening for that same message. That's the reason it went back to this class and it executed this toast message. So that's how you create a custom broadcast receiver. Now that was something which was within the application. This broadcast receiver was created within this application. What if I create a new application, and in that application I create another broadcast receiver, and that broadcast receiver is also listening for this same message, this same custom message? Now what will happen then? Well, this time two broadcast receiver will be getting invoked. That is, one is from inside this application itself, and another one is from the second application. So let's just see. I will create another project, new project. I will call it my broadcast demo O2 empty activity finish. In this particular second application, I don't really have to do anything. Just include one broadcast receiver. I don't even I'm not even concerned about the UI, because I'm not even gonna open this application. I just want this application to be there, and there should be a broadcast receiver listening for a particular message. That's it. So I will just go to new and go to others. Just click on broadcast receiver and call it my broadcast O2. Great. And inside on receive, I can put a different message like toast dot make text context second receiver. Yeah, second receiver called, and length short and not show. Now this here will only be called if you provide a behavior to this particular broadcast receiver in the manifest file. As you can see, it is already registered. You have to put that same behavior which you were giving to your previous broadcast receiver. If you want to listen it for the same message broadcast, so just copy this whole intent filter and paste it inside your receiver. Now this broadcast receiver is also listening for that same message. All you gotta do is just run this application once, and so that it gets installed in your emulator or device if you are using a device. And once it gets installed, you can close that application. I will just tell you what's the use of doing this whole thing here in a bit. Now you see my application is installed. I close my application, and I even close my application from my cache memory. Okay, now my application is not running. It's not in the main memory. What's my point here is, you see your WhatsApp application or Facebook application or Twitter application, they are not even running in the background, they are closed, but still if somebody sends you the notification, you are still able to get the notification. How? Well, because their broadcast receiver is always listening for a particular message. So that's what my whole point is. In this particular example, you can see that there is one application inside which there is a broadcast receiver and listening for that message. So that broadcast receiver, of course, it will get invoked. Now there is another application who is listening for that same broadcast receiver or same message. Now that broadcast receiver will also get invoked because they both are listening for the same messages. So let's just try this first. Click on this, see, second receiver called and first receiver called. Nice, right? So that's how you actually are able to handle the broadcast receiver that is inbuilt, or your what you call custom receiver. Yeah, of course you didn't need this button. So if you want to remove this button, you can even remove this button here. Yeah, you can remove this button, and you don't even need this method now. There you go. Great. So that was a small demo on broadcast receiver. Please do try the practicals given in your Git book. Thank you.